Okay, so could you tell me what dating without borders means?
So, dating without borders for me means to consider finding someone that you might be able to connect with outside of your immediate network. So, your immediate network will be the usual places that you are comfortable to go to meet people. So, sometimes it will be maybe work, maybe a religious place of activity, maybe in a club, maybe anywhere that is usual for you. So, dating without borders will take that one step further. So, for example, that would be considering dating, looking internationally, because we now live in a global village and you can't limit your dating to just the usual places that you go to. That's what dating without borders is, just literally out of your usual everyday places. And dating for me is about meeting people, having people to talk to, and meeting now can be online, can be offline, can be on the phone. There's just so many different ways of meeting people now through social media. Social media is one of the places that people need to explore, because that's where you can meet people all over the world.
Do you think there's sort of stigma around meeting people online?
Definitely, especially in my age segment, there is a stigma to meeting people online. And the stigma is around the age sometimes that we grew up. When I was growing up, we didn't have, the World Wide Web. So we met people traditionally in parties, weddings, the kind of usual places. So meeting people online is quite new for people who are 50 plus, maybe 60 plus, even though right now that's the only way to meet. That's how I met my soulmate.
What would be your advice for someone who wants to find the life partner, especially someone who is older?
So, my main advice would be to think outside of your comfort zone. So, whatever that comfort zone for some people would be, thinking in the traditional way that they've always thought about dating or even just meeting people. There's some people, I appreciate that the only way they're thinking about is a friend that knows a friend to come and meet them. But I would say put all those usual ways to one side and think more broadly. Think about, especially when you're older, you haven't got the students population that we used to have when we were at university. Think more broadly. Think online. Think about talking to a friend about how you come across, because the way you come across, to be quite honest, will also be one of the ways that you need to consider how you date people. And also asking people to rate what they think you're like. Do you come across warm? Do you come across harsh? Do you make your face when you see people approaching you? Sometimes you don't even know you're doing those things until somebody can tell you and feed that back to you. But it has to be somebody that you trust. How do you come across? That's one of the advice that I would give.
It seems as though I know like a lot of people their problem is like meeting that person because a lot of people maybe they're against like meeting someone on social media or they find it difficult. It hasn't worked in the past, but I don't think a lot of people consider that day to day people that would normally come up to them maybe they look a bit closed off, and so that limits them. Like their body language, like how's their body language? Is their body language opening or welcoming? That's like a big thing.
Yes, that is a big thing, and people tend to not realize that everything they're doing is sending a message or a signal to someone. So the way that we dress, the way that we look, the way that we smile, we tend to greet. In some parts of the world, it's natural to greet someone good morning, good afternoon. In the UK, which is where I'm based, it's not that usual if you're living in London to just say good morning to someone in the street. It's just not what we do. But it's important to smile, for example, because your smile says something about an invitation to for someone to smile back at you. And we don't have to always only smile at people that we think we might be interested in. Just being genuinely nice, our disposition should be inviting for anyone that wants to just generally think about meeting people, must think about what they're radiating, what they're giving out. Because what we're giving out says a lot about what we're going to get back.